What a do, degenerates! Alright, got a spicy one for you today. In particular, today's video is about 3 ways that Valve can make every skin under $2,000, aka get everything onto the Steam market, aka fuck the entire CS economy. I don't want these to be true, but with the way that it looks like Valve is going with things, I mean, you know, I feel like this is what they're gonna do. So, may as well embrace the meme before it actually hurts you. I can imagine a lot of people are not gonna like this video because, you know, people got skin in the game, people got money in the game. That's fair. Again, with any of my videos, this is not financial advice. Listen, I'm just as in the dark as you are, friend, so who knows what's gonna happen. But I'm just saying, if I were Valve, maybe a couple of these ideas might, you know, get the market to where everybody has to use the Steam market. I'm just saying. Again, I don't want it to be the case, but hey, it's the world we live in. You can fucking do souvenir trade-ups now, you know what I mean? Alright, so my first idea is something as stupid as this. Alright, so you know we have the stat track swapper tool? Well, imagine they do that with knife skins, right? You want to crash the fucking butterfly ruby or M9 ruby or any of the like gems on a high tier skin? Well, it's pretty simple. You just go ahead and let people trade their current knife skin for a better one and their worst knife skin for a worse one. For example, so let's say you're an idiot and you have a Navajo Black Pearl in your inventory, right? But you're not really a fan of the Navajo knife, but you are a fan of, say, I don't know, a Talon knife. Well, you use this little tool that you can purchase for, I don't know, $5? Yeah, I can see $5 being realistic for this kind of thing. Hell, I could go up to 50. I could see Valve going up to 50. Do I think they will? No, I hope not. I could see $5 being a thing. $50 seems a little, I'm not gonna say excessive, but I can see it happening. So anyway, basically, what this would result in. All right, so you basically have this guy, right? You have this, and you also have one of these, right? And so you use the tool, you swap around the skins, and then you have this shitty Navajo, which is a battle-scarred safari mesh, which used to be on the Talon knife. And, you know, let's be real, this is the filler skin. But more importantly, you also have this guy right here. And, yeah, if you want to crash the market on high-tier knives, I think this would be the way to do it. What it will basically do to this is make it go from about $300 is what I got mine for, and probably make it go to the, I don't know, I would say about a $1,200 range. And then same thing with the Safari Mesh, this guy. Like, it will probably raise the price of this guy to $600-700. God damn it. You know what? $700-800 because fuck that meme. It will make all the basic finishes on the good knives basically go up in value. And again, the same thing with the more rare finishes on the bad knives. But it will also do the inverse as well. So in other words, if you have like a ruby butterfly, ultimately that's going to become way more obtainable because of this update, right? So that would probably crash that price down to, I'm going to be real, yeah, below $2,000 probably, somewhere around there. Which may be my estimate for what the fucking Navajo Black Pearl would be. Maybe that would be like a $500 knife at that point. Maybe a $700. I don't know. This is all speculation, right? But I'm just saying, with this kind of update, it would crash so many high-tier knives. But again, that seems to be the direction that Valve is moving in, so it wouldn't surprise me if this happened. Now, the other popular community theory right now is a knife reroll system. So in other words, like basically you pay Valve $50 and then you reroll the contract. But I feel like, you know, the little switcher tool is going to be easier to implement than a reroll system. Now, to be fair, there is a reroll idea, but we will get to that later. This is my first idea on what Valve could do if they really wanted to, well, crash the market. But, and I'm gonna be real, it's what they seem like they're doing. Again, a knife skin swap tool. Yeah, I could see that happening. Now, the other interesting thing about this this idea, right? So, for example, I have this guy right here, obviously, and then I also have a classic knife. Now, classic knives don't come in the Black Pearl variety. I am curious, would that then allow this to happen? And think about what that would do as well. Like all the, like, you know, the Gamma collection finishes, that would then also apply to all the other knives that don't have the Gamma collection. For example, a Emerald skeleton knife, right? Actually, hold on real quick. I am very curious. What does this look like in a Black Pearl? All right, moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I don't know, dude. That's interesting. So it's a purple. I'm not gonna lie. I think I fuck with it. Like, hang on. I don't like the fish scales, but also it's kind of clean, no? Like, I get it. I mean, reminds me of like a grape Kool-Aid. I don't know why, but like, I don't think it would be implemented like this, unless if it is. Would I do it? I don't know. That's crazy. Actually, you know what? That makes me curious. What about the Navaja knife with slaughter? Obviously, Navaja with slaughter would exist, but the way I would envision this happening is basically we would take the pattern, the finish catalog, and the wear rating. Then it would just switch with the knives. So like this whole thing would be swapped to the classic knife, right? But the inverse would also be true, so I wonder if the Navaja would have a heart pattern in this scenario. So this is a pattern 510, finish catalog 59. All right, so let's see what that looks like. Aw, no heart pattern. So sad. That is, well, actually, hold on. On the back, it's kind of a heart, right? Okay. So maybe not with that classic knife, which is actually a little sad, not gonna lie. But hey, that would be an interesting thing to see. That said, on to the next idea. All right, so idea number 2 is this meme. I found this a few days after the knife trade-up update, and I do apologize to the original artist, whoever you are. I saw this on a random place, and I just thought it was funny. But honestly, this would be the next thing to crash the market, right? So, obviously, re-releasing the Norse collection and re-releasing the Rising Sun collection. You want to get those high-tier skins down, like the Dragon Lore, the Gungnir, the Prince even, God forbid. You want to get all those down in rarity, and, you know, therefore, there's more of them on the market, more people can buy them because it's more affordable. There's more supply, therefore the demand is less. You want to get the Op Gungnir, the Op Dragon Lore, the Op Medusa. You want to get the M4A1S Hot Rod down below $2,000 factory new. This is how you do it. Again, I don't want them to do it. I don't want them to do this. I cannot stress that enough for this video. Any of these ideas, I don't think are good ideas. With exception of maybe the little sticker removal tool down here. We'll talk about that because I kind of vibe with that one. Just because I'm not a Cato collector. And even then, I wouldn't really care about the Catos themselves. But as I alluded to a couple videos ago, having an Op Prince with a fake gold and red Titan Hollow, I mean, I'm just saying, That would be pretty cool, right? Again, this idea is all about re-releasing old skin collections and putting them in the armory, which would then mean the prices on all of these, the Alcahabra and the Gungnir, they all go down. Which, I mean, with the Gungnir itself, the Norse collection, I'd be okay with. I would love to have my Negev Mjolnir back. That's just me. I traded one of those back in the day. Again, it's that whole battle-scarred dragon lore story that I said in the op video. Listen, I'd be cool with that, all right? It would be awesome to have my Mjolnir back, especially with the way my inventory is looking right now. But only time will tell. Now, also with this one as well, let's talk about the little sticker removal tool. Again, I like the idea. And again, I think it's not the worst idea ever either. Again, if you do it and, you know, you wear the sticker by 20% every time you do it, well, then that means that the actual Titans, like the original Titan Hollows, those would still retain their value. Now, here's the thing, that's kind of counterintuitive for this video, because at the end of the day, like I've already established, Valve would want to get the Titan Hollow to below $2,000. Now, how would they do that in the armory? I hate to say it, but how they would do it in the armory is like put it as like a limited time collection sticker right down here. Like they would go ahead and put it down here, right? And they would go ahead and make it so you could get any sticker from any previous major and just call it like major stickers of generations past or whatever. And like, you know, it would just randomly give you one. And they could theoretically do the same thing for like the Norse collection skins and everything. Is like, rather than, you know, doing a Norse collection, they do a limited time edition item, and it just gives you a random red from any collection. That would include Norse, that would include Cobblestone. Unfortunately, that would also include Canals. But, you know, it would be a way to make these skins less rare. Again, I don't want this to happen. I'm just saying it could. But yeah, that's basically all of idea number 2, is just fuckery with the armory, you know? Like, that's the best way I could put it. They can really do some twisted stuff. Now, also with the armory, let's talk about, like, you see how the gloves case is right here? Hold on, yeah, see, right there? So that gloves case, imagine that instead of gloves case, it's a glove terminal, and it's literally just the same thing, but it's the old glove case just turned into a terminal. I could see that happening too. Again, idea 2 is kind of more of an all-encompassing thing as compared to idea 1, but you know, they can really mess with things in the armory, which you know, they're trying to get away from gambling and everything, and I get it. Though the armory still feels like that, you know what I mean? So, it is what it is. But ultimately, yeah, if Valve wants to get every skin underneath $2,000, there's a high likelihood they use the armory to do that. And it is what it is. Third and final idea, right? So, second idea and first idea, I get it. You may already want to crucify me. I understand that. This third one, I think, takes the cake for it. And this third one is what I alluded to earlier. Could you imagine a world where instead of trade-up contracts, you can buy a trade-down contract? Alright, so like this is your normal trade-up menu, right? So instead of trading up, you would pay to trade down. So for example, with the Empress, right? So instead of like trading this up for a knife, you would trade it down, get all 3 of the pinks from this. Now, imagine what that would do with certain knives. Like if you do that with a knife, it would give you back 5 random red skins, right? And you know, you trade up, you don't like the knife you get, and so it's just like, all right, here, how do you re-roll that? Well, with a trade down contract, you would go ahead and trade down to maybe Valve doesn't give you fucking 3 red skins, but let's say they gave you 2 to 3. They give you 2 to 3 red skins, which means you would then have to find another 2 red skins to go ahead and throw into another knife re-roll. And again, that's how you would crash the high tier knives. That's how I would imagine the reroll system with the knives idea that we talked about earlier. But also it would work on not only knives, but it would work on all this kind of stuff too, right? Now, here's the thing. While this is a very neat idea, it's kind of a little bit useless on the older collections with one pinks, or with one pink rather. And really, it is just useless on the older collections. Like, with the Long Dog, for example, and yes, I just traded for this, don't mind the name tag. I did not put that there, though I do find it quite comical. Anyway, so like with this one, like you trade down the Long Dog and you get a Hellish and you get a Latte Rush, right? Like, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of the trade down contract. And, you know, like, instead of it being free like the trade-up contract, maybe make it, like, again, $5, and, you know, that's how you would go ahead and get, like, again, a Latte Rush, a Hellish, if you prefer that kind of skin. It's a reroll kind of mechanic that I don't see super game-breakingly, but also, again, if you can reroll knives with it, and again, if Valve gives you anywhere from... I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 4 reds. I see the ideal number for this type of system being 3 reds back for a knife that you didn't like. I mean, yeah, that would mean that more trade ups would happen for knives, which would then decrease the knife market overall, not just the high tier knives, but the overall knife market. So, you know, if you also fucking combo that with the idea of the little knife swapper tool that I mentioned earlier. I don't know. I feel like if you combined all the ideas of this video, you would actually be able to get the CS2 market for just about every skin, every item in the game under $2,000. Now, would that be better for the market? Well, it's hard to say one way or another. Of course, it would suck for me. Like, let's be real. This guy isn't cheap, right? But also it does mean that more players would be able to have access to these skins. So it's a double-edged sword. But also Valve would be hurting like their most dedicated players as well. But they've already done that with the souvenir update. They've already done that with the knife trade-up updates. So why wouldn't they continue and try and get everything on the market? Now, that could lead to an apocalypse scenario. And you know what? That will be next video. Next video, we will talk about what happens if Valve bans trading. That is an apocalypse scenario. God forbid. But let's get that out of our mind real quick, and let's just talk about what would happen if like all of these ideas were actually implemented. For the love of God, Valve don't. But if they did, and they really did want to get everything down below $2,000, that way they would not restrict everybody to the community market yet. Again, next video. But in order to go ahead and let players, you know, buy this fucking prints for $1,400 on the community market. I mean, at that point, on one hand, fair, but on the other hand, again, you're really betraying the customer base that got you to the point of where you are. But also, money is money, baby. I get it. I don't want to get it. It sucks. As somebody who owns a skin like this, or even a lightning strike in the past, right? It is nice to just be able to give this to players that you just randomly queue up with, and they're like, holy shit, is that a lightning strike? And actually, no, with the lightning strike, it was like, dude, this thing's a dog shit skin. How dare it be $1,000, right? And then with the prints, they're just like, what? How much is this? And then I have to tell them it's $2,000, but we don't talk about it. And then, you know, it's the shock value, right? And that's what I loved about having a Dragon Lore back in the day too, even though it was only for like a 2-month period. Again, we don't talk about it, but you know, it's what it is. It's something nice something nice when you have like nicer skins and you could just give them to the player base, you know? Also, I suck at this game anyway, so I'm gonna die with this round 1, and then, again, the server keeps it alive. I mentioned that in the op skin video, but hey, it's what it is. Alright, that's about it from me for today. If you would like to go ahead and support me, Patreon link is down below. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that shit. I mean, again, I can't tell you what to do. You do you. You're your own person. But yeah, so see you in the next one.